play themselves back into form. There's a few Sydney sides that are struggling, but the Dragons, and they played against South on the weekend. Their execution was terrible. They were poor on the weekend. Where do we have the Dragons at the moment?
Well, I've got them struggling deluxe, and the stat, and I think Paul Crawley found it, a very simple stat, that they've won 1 out of their last 13 games, which is worse than the West Tigers and worse than the Canterbury Bulldogs. And when you look for reasons why, I had a look at their recruitment in my column this morning, and they came up with a policy or a plan when Hook got there to look for cut price cheapies. In that, players who weren't wanted at their current clubs, who they could probably pay half their market value for them and come in. And you look at these players, I'll run through them quickly: McCulloch, Woods, Mbai, Maguire, Daniel Alvaro, Moses Suli and Jack Bird. Now, these boys, as much as it's a nasty word, were rejects from their previous clubs, and for a reason. And St George, while picking them up, obviously at a better price than what they were on.
It's a strong roster, Buzz. The roster at the moment is far better than the football that they are playing. Ben Hunt's an Origin and a Test player. I think the bigger issue is his selections. Anthony Griffin, he's cut 2 of the emerging best young talents in the game in Terrell Sloan, and Junior Ramon's been playing off the bench. Moses Mbai, to your point, he couldn't make the starting side at the West Tigers. And now he's playing fullback at St George Illawarra. Hello?
Yeah, but...
And you guys work with Aaron Woods, and he's the world's nicest bloke, and he's really solid player. But he's not going to blow a game open.
Yeah, but Buzz, you got him for less than 200 grand. Let me just say this about Saints. So everybody's looking at what's happened there. So they had Paul Vaughan there, who's on a lot of money. They've had who else have they had there on recently? Obviously Ben Hunt's still there on a lot of money. Griffin's had to move players out to try and get the salary cap back in shape. And this is what everyone forgets about when talent comes in and out, and to fix the culture. But when talent comes in and out of clubs, everyone overlooks that. So McCulloch, you look at McCulloch and Cameron McGuinness and what they were doing, OK? Now, Cameron McGuinness obviously is in a better place right now in his career, but he was on 3 times what you got McCulloch for. So that's about getting your...
I'd still argue that was an error. They should have kept McGuinness.
Well, of course it was. Did you see McGuinness yesterday? He was outstanding.
But if you put a value on Cameron McGuinness and you say, right, this is what we value at as a player at our club, and another club comes in and pays well above that, you've got to maintain the discipline to say, no, this is what we think you're worth and this is what we're willing to go to. Now, if you keep breaking that discipline, suddenly by paying an extra 200 here, an extra 150 there, an extra 3 there, what ends up happening is your salary cap gets right out of whack. And then when a good player, Cameron Munster, for example, comes on the market, you're not even in the hunt because you've got no money.
In the more immediate, right, in relation to these young guns, Braith, has he got this decision?
I still can't get my head around this. I can't understand why he's dropped Sloan and Amone. After the game on the weekend, in the wrap-up on Super Saturday, you're talking to Cooper and Benji and Corey, it's like, what do they lack? They lack spark, they lack creativity, they lack speed. And then you go, well, hang on a sec, well, what's Sloan and what's Amone? You know, you need points, you need to score points.
But Braith, they haven't been defending well. And the reason Sloan was put out, and Anthony Griffin won't say why, but he's alluded to he needs to work on some things in his game. And the thing that's really been missing from the Dragons, which is the talk from the fullback. And fullback is such a different game than it used to be, where basically now they are the architects of your defence and they're reading the opposition attack, and as they're getting set up... And they're Teach him. How many losses do you sustain while you're teaching him?
They averaged 24 points against in the first 3 rounds. They've averaged 36 the last 2 games.
Yeah, but who do they play?
With Mbai at fullback.
Parramatta and Souths. Parramatta and Souths, but since he's been dropped, Parramatta, their defence has got worse.
Yeah,
so I don't think you put it all on the young bloke.
Defence wins premierships. I understand that. And Hook's an experienced coach, and he's thinking we're not going to go nowhere in this competition until we defend better. But sometimes you got
the other 12 players who are up in the defensive line.
I get it.
Are sitting there saying, "Listen, we need some help from behind us here."
They're young kids who you can help and manufacture into these players.
He hasn't abandoned them. He's just saying them, mate, go away and work on this part of your game.
Why did they extend Hook? And I thought it was a fair move.
To quieten the noise.
But it was a controversy killer. It stopped, well, they hoped it would stop us sitting here on Monday.
Question.
But, Kenty, they're worrying then about outside noises, okay? Now, with Hook, he was in no danger of being poached by anyone.
That's not what they were trying to do.
That's not what they did it. You just answered why they did it.
Yeah, to quieten the noise.
But it's not, we're talking it here.
Well, because, Buzz, if they
and we're now talking about a bigger payout
That's true. Well, no, we're not. But that's true. We are talking about it now because they still haven't won a game.
I don't think it's.
Yeah, they've won one.
But they're going to get rid of Hook.
I didn't say that, but I was still surprised they did it.
Yeah, another thing just with that, why did they, I don't know if you guys have got the answers, but why did they drop the two of them at once, Amon and Sloan? Why would they, why don't they just,
don't know the answers
like there's a lot of around that.
From an
outside
point of view, it looked like a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that Cronulla had put a score on them in the rain, and I don't see how in those conditions, two young blokes, it's not like they don't have experience in that side. To your point about the roster, Buzz, like Zach Lomax is on the cusp of playing Origin. It is not a bad roster.
The balance of it at the moment. On the weekend, did you see his no-look pass when a no-look pass was not required and it went to the ground and he bombed a try?
Is he a talent or not?
Good.
Is he a talent or not?
Well, on his day, yes.
But how's that the coach's fault?
Oh, look, I'm not saying it's the coach's fault, but you brought up Lomax, and I thought what he did with that no-look pass was just outrageously stupid.
Or maybe some players got to start taking some accountability themselves.
Yeah, the Dragons definitely in a hole at the moment.